Okay. Just give me a quick wave. Everybody is okay to listen to me one more time. All right. I'm going to start the screen share in a moment, and then we'll get going. Okay. So everybody able to see my presentation? Good. Thank you. So what we are going to do is we're going to kickstart introduction to robotics, and what we will roughly cover is the outline of what we're going to do is we're going to have some concept sessions. My goal is to spend at least 1 hour today covering the concepts block A. If we go fast and we are able to cover some stuff from block B, then that's fine. But the intent is to go over at least block A, and towards the end, introduce you guys to what we call as associate work. And associate work typically would mean watching videos as a follow-up, as well as installing certain tools and getting your hands a little dirty and getting your machine set up. So I think that's the overall goal. After we are done with the concept sessions, we're going to go over a case study, followed by what we call as building the bot days. I want to be very, very upfront with you folks. It's quite likely we may not be able to cover all aspects of build a bot days. We're going to introduce a lot of tools, a lot of ideas very quickly. The intention is not to master a particular tool through the case study and only the case study time, but to master those tools or to get orientation with those tools so that you can apply during the launch phase of the overall incubator life cycle we discussed yesterday morning, yesterday evening, which was our morning over here. Make sense? Yes, no? Good. Cool. So within block A, we'll cover understanding the robotic space. Part 2 will in the middle, we'll try to focus on a little bit of deeper why we have the focus on organic bots, on robotics in a little bit deeper. And then finally in part 3, I will kind of get a little bit of tools and platform introduction as such. Okay, so we'll go over the part 1, understanding the robotic space as such. You can take notes as much as you want, but I'm recording the session. Let me double check if I'm indeed recording, just to make sure. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah, Prashant, it is recording. It does show.
Okay, good. Okay. So I think the way to look at robotics as such is it has broad applications, right? But what will be our core focus? Okay. So what will be the core focus for us, right? There are various forms of robotics, right? The most common images that people typically get is a self-driving car, a drone landing a package, or a typical industrial bot, right? So that's one kind of images, one kind of robotic application as such. The other is what I call as a digital assistants at workplace as well as at home, right? Over here, people are getting used to the constructs of Alexa, which are voice-enabled devices Google Now, in the form of either your Android devices or Google Home devices or Siri or Cortana as such. So those are voice-enabled digital assistant, right? Or you have this whole construct of text-invoked digital assistant, right? People chatting with bots, just like humans. Or you have a construct of an event invoked bot, right? A good example of an event invoked digital assistant is you having emails in your Gmail account. 5 years ago, we did not have the construct of, hey, if there is an email in your Gmail which said, hey, there is a bill due on a particular date, then basically it will remind you on your Android device. So we did not have that construct earlier, but that construct is now available. What it is doing is on arrival of an email, the email reading assistant is essentially triggering the robotic activity as such. So we're going to generally focus on the digital assistant aspects of bots or software robotics. We are not going to focus on the industrial robotics or the electromechanical robotic complex systems as such. We may at the most go as far as IoT sensor generating devices at the most. We do not have skills or intent to go over here, at least not at this point of time. Okay. The other way to think of robotics is, at the end of the day, robotics is nothing more than automation of some sort, right? But that automation is made available through various form factors. So basically, the other way I typically like to explain people robotics is it's automation plus form factor mixed together gives you robotics. So a good example, as I said, is some automation code which is invoked through your natural language in the form of a voice form factor gives birth to robotics realization in the form of Siri or Alexa or Google Home. Give me one second. Let me mute. Okay. Asim, guys, if you're joining, please make sure the session has started and join in as mute, please. Okay. So that's one. The second idea is, again, automation code with texting UI. Here you're not interacting through natural language in spoken words, but you're interacting with the automation code in the form of a text chat as such. And then, hey, it gives birth to Skype chat or WeChat enabled bots or automation as such. Then, as I said, some content event, I gave you example of Google Assistant. The other famous examples would be you taking pictures and uploading it onto Google Pictures, and the Google Pictures coming out with an automated album on your birthday or what have you, right? All of those is examples of automation on some event as such. There is another interesting example wherein we have automation code invoked on another, concept of a GPS event, right? We have Philips Hue automation wherein, like, hey, people have configured their devices to control lighting, heating, temperature, so on and so forth. So when a particular person's phone enters a certain GPS range when they are getting towards the home, based on a certain distance radius, you could switch on the lights, you could switch on the air conditioner and get the home to a cooling temperature before somebody actually arrives at home. And then finally, we have automation code plus car. I mean, that's an example of an autonomous system. So at the end of the day, what I was trying to convey was automation is software, form factor is a realization or the interaction realization, or the form factor is nothing but the interaction form factor as such, and together that's robotics. There are like 3 levels of maturities of the digital assistants. At level 1, we call it doing. So typically this means like there are rules based digital assistants. They are typically if then else kind of intelligence in the software. They don't have any cognitive or judgment kind of capabilities. Most of those are probabilistic. They're not doing the probabilistic outcome, they are deterministic outcomes, and they essentially lack the ability to do judgment. Judgment at the end of the day is somewhat experience, prediction, probabilistic aspects around it. So in level 2 here we get into digital assistants who have the capabilities of doing plus thinking. Right, in level 1 they are all about doing. There are certain rules and the bots will go scrape the screen, pick up some data from a particular location in a page or an Excel spreadsheet, take that data and go to another website and do something. So that's level 1 automation. Level 2 digital assistant or automation is, it involves a little bit of thinking, not just doing. This is where we gradually introduce cognitive judgment and make the bot use not just the structured data but also unstructured data, as well as utilize some supervised machine learning. Okay, and then finally we have level 3 bots, which is the doing and the thinking and the self-learning bot or unsupervised learning as such. Yeah. So any questions from anyone thus far? Anybody? Any questions? Okay. Cool. So I'll go forward. If there are questions, either raise hand or punch in a chat request. Okay. So now again, we covered a little bit of why Organic Bots Incubator is focused a bit earlier this morning, or rather this yesterday evening's session with Shrikant. I think I want to give a little bit of a perspective using some data, right? Like 100 million, right? These are the number of global knowledge workers who would be impacted by what is called as robotic process automation. We'll go into what robotic process automation is in a while. So these are the people who we think they will get impacted. So there are reference in the bottom. You can look at it at your leisure from where this number is. This is another interesting peer research, right? Automation, robots, artificial intelligence are taking over workers' traditional job. I mean, like typically you would think like low-skill jobs are taken away or low-skill jobs are impacted, but in reality, even the high-skill jobs are changing in the way they were originally constructed versus how they are constructed today, right? So I mean, like 47%, right? What is 47%? Oxford researchers calculate this as being a percentage of American employment that is at risk because of expected impacts of computerization. 50% is McKinsey analysts estimate that the share of the activities for which the workers are paid to do now, today, that's 50% of the tasks that they do today will be automated. And like if somebody is getting paid 12 lakhs per annum to write code or to do some knowledge processing job somewhere out there in Pune, who knows, 50% of their tasks will be automated. And you might not be doing any development, you might be just doing debugging, you know. So basically there is a restructuring of what existing roles do and how they get paid depending upon what automations will take over versus what it won't take over. But in net, I think you'll realize that some of these things are already happening. And as I often say to people, right, while many people were asleep and ignorant, I mean, these digital assistants had kind of started coming into our homes and our day-to-day life as toys, and now we have become dependent upon them. And these, what I call as digital assistant at works, will start to dominate our work life gradually. Yeah, sorry, I had to mute folks. Okay. So I mean, like at the end of the day, right? Pune is a white-collar job center and a back office of the world. Of course, it has a good manufacturing sector too, but it's quite likely you will be seeing more and more of workforce, which is a combination of humans plus digital labor as such. I think that's where things are heading overall, and therefore um, our focus has been like, hey, how does the employment restructure is going to be very interesting, and it would be interesting time to launch an incubator which focuses exclusively on robotics as such. Little bit of making sense of the tools overall. There is a company called UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, Work Fusion, Pega. There are many. Most of these tools are called as RPA tools or robotic process automation tools. They are comparable. Hey, please keep discipline to keep your mute buttons on, right? Do not unmute yourself unless you have to speak. Be wiseful about your phones next to your microphones, please. Yeah. So UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Pega, Blue Prism, Work Fusion, they are like just bunch of companies doing having more or less similar kind of features. We're going to focus on UiPath. Why UiPath? Not because it's favorite or anything like that. I think UiPath is a community edition, and we will be doing our case study and utilizing UiPath for bot building during the case study phase as such. I think Work Fusion also has a community edition. Almost everybody else also is having community edition, but by far you will see the top player at the moment is UiPath. A lot of people getting trained in UiPath. There's actual shortage of people who understand UiPath. So we're going to learn UiPath through doing as such. Any questions thus far? I mean, let me just open up for questions. Yeah. Let me unmute the line of Nitin Saleh, AISSM. Any questions there?
No, sir.
Any questions on the GSPM side? Okay. Anything anybody wants to add from OB side? Vasant or Shrikant?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. So no questions means either people are getting everything I'm speaking or I am putting them to sleep. One of two. So I think these are commercial players, right, as I said. But I think even before the commercial players came in, there is always a way to do what's called as free DIY approach to RPA. It's really a mix and match of various open source tools. Like, I mean, I'm not so sure if people are familiar with Selenium. It's a test automation software. At the heart of every RPA tool is test automation software techniques, as well as patterns of automation. So if you take Selenium and plus all the scripting languages that you typically might get exposed to, whether it's Java, Python, JavaScript, curl, you can pretty much not have any of these tools and do a lot with this open source tool as such. We'll venture a little bit into block B, unless, I mean, I really want to make sure people are getting the material. People okay so far? People, yeah, I mean, yeah. JSPM, you guys had probably some technical difficulties. Any questions as such? Yes, no? Okay. Okay. All right. So we knocked off block A in roughly 20 minutes. Um, so let's see if we can finish off block B, and then we can jump into a discussion around part two, which is the associate work. So over here we'll cover what is a business process, give a little bit of intuition into what is a front office and middle office. Then we'll get into a little bit of what a BPO is, right? Yeah. So what we are going to do is we're going to watch this video. So it's a short video. It's an introduction into intuition into what a business process is, right? So let me play this video.
Okay, Prashant, just 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so I see AISSMS, everyone listening very carefully. I just wanted to check if the pace at which Prashant is going, is that making sense to you guys? Is it all making sense? Is it all coming together for you all? Or do we need to go slow? Yeah, SSMS, you can unmute and speak up.
Yeah, I'll unmute them.
Right.
Sir, everything is okay. You can continue.
Okay, so it's all making sense to you guys, right? The pace is all good.
Hey, Prashant.
Yeah.
Maybe one suggestion, you can just ask some questions to the team to see if they are getting the concept you're looking for.
Yeah, I think maybe some of that conversation will happen probably in this section.
Next section. Okay.
In the next section. Yeah. Okay. So let's hope that this thing works as promised. Yesterday we had done a test of this, so give me 1 sec. Okay. So let me play this video for you guys. Let me put mute, and hopefully this will play well. So Shrikant, you give me a feedback about if it is coming okay on your end.
Yeah, you need to start sharing, Prashant.
I'm sharing.
I don't see that.
The video is not coming up.
Well, I do see you, but I don't see the screen share.
Yeah, the screen share is there. Are people not able to see the screen share? I mean,
You need to share that window, I think, where the video is playing.
1 sec. Can people see it? Okay, well, let me stop it and then let me reshare it. Okay, give me 1 sec. Is it visible now?
Yeah. Now we can see.
Yeah, so let me.
There's no audio, Prashant.
Give me 1 sec. And I forgot how I had done. I'm not getting that same option again. Shrikant. One sec. Let me pause the recording also.
Hey, Prashant, click on the drop down on the where the microphone is, and you will see several options.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where did that go?
On the bottom left, there is a mute button.
So I'm going to stop recording.